this world, there's one man who refuses to follow the script.
We have rules here, you know that. And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
One man stands tall in the face of adversity.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
A man who rises above the ashes of hot takes.
What do you care what they say?
Easy for you to say they will love you.
It's just noise, man. You're really good at it. You might be great.
That man is Nick Kostos. And this is You Better You Bet.
If loving sports is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Where narratives are challenged and the truth is spoken.
I told you what was going to happen last week. If you didn't listen, that's on you.
This isn't talk, it's perspective.
It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see.
This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry, magnificent Sports Monday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports, as we bring you the fastest show in all of sports. The show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. And on this Monday morning, the world of sports ablaze. A ton going on. You absolutely love to see it. And we will get to all the big stories, including why all eyes in the Major League Baseball world need to be focused this week on Detroit, Michigan. I will explain to everybody. Also, I had Nick Kostos, last night, as one does on a Sunday night in late July, perusing The Wire. And I'm not talking the HBO show. No. I'm reading about every single NFL news item. Not just because we do this radio show. Not just because we do the show that you can watch on YouTube, Twitch, and elsewhere. No. We're doing it. I'm doing it because I love it. And over the course of me reading about all these news stories in the National Football League, I had a eureka moment. The proverbial light bulb going off above my dome. My favorite week one bet. I have a bet for week one on a side in the National Football League. I don't know if it's going to win. I also don't know if any of these players will be healthy by the time we get there. But as it stands right now, I think that I have the single best bet week one in the National Football League at our show sponsor, BetMGM. And I will share it with all of you next hour here on You Better You Bet. And I will also, because it's going to be sensational this year, I will rank the NBA Eastern Conference, the Nick Kostos Trust Rankings, from 8 through 1, teams in the loaded Eastern Conference that I trust to get to the NBA Finals next year. Oh yeah, this is going to be a show. Bets for tonight, we'll wrap it up in the final hour, the Power Hour. The phone number, 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910, youtube.com/@thekostos. You can follow me, your boy, Nick Kostos, on all social media platforms at the Kostos, TheKostos. But we officially begin the magnificent Sports Monday edition of You Better You Bet with a true Philly special. And just to everybody who said, LeBron James is going to milk this decision, he's going to wait, maybe he's going to take it into the season, he wants maximum drama, he's going to raise the middle finger to Adam Silver, who wants him to make the decisions so they can set the schedule. Everyone who said LeBron was going to, extend this out and run it out just to annoy everybody because he loves it and he loves the attention. Did you think that we would get LeBron James #final decision on a Friday in July? LeBron James final decision, Friday news dump on a Friday afternoon so everybody can take and hold the L on that one. Friday news dump for LeBron James and his final decision. I loved that on Friday as someone who is a pretty unabashed LeBron James fan. I know people hate him. That's fine. You can make your own decisions, right, wrong, or indifferent. I like LeBron. I found great humor in that, and that seemed to me like LeBron saying, you know what? You all expected me to do one thing. I'm going to do something completely different. And he also did that with the decision that he made. Now, you know, because I said it all week last week, and I've been saying it for a while, that the final decision was actually the easiest decision for LeBron James. Once it became evident that it was going to be one of those three teams in the East, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Miami, there was no decision. This is the easiest decision. That's what he should have called it. Instead of the final decision, he should have called this the easy decision. There was no decision. It was obviously the Philadelphia 76ers. LeBron James, handshake emoji, Nick Kostos. Two great basketball minds. I said it all week last week. If it's true that LeBron James wants to win another championship, it's Philly. It's not Miami, where he pairs with Giannis and Bam, and great, you win 48 regular season games and you lose in the second rounds of the playoffs. It's certainly not Cleveland, where, could you imagine LeBron at this stage of his career just watching James Harden dribble the ball between his legs? Like, looking like a traffic cone getting flambéed by Jalen Brunson? Kenny Atkinson taking a nap on the sideline instead of calling timeouts? No way. No way. It wasn't going to happen. It was not going to happen. The Philadelphia 76ers were the team for LeBron. And I absolutely love that LeBron is going to Philly to play with Joel Embiid, with Tyrese Maxey, with VJ Edgecombe, and of course, with Jaylen Brown. 2 years, $8 million. So look, LeBron James doesn't need the money, obviously. He ain't crying for money. He's a billionaire with a, not millionaire with an M, billionaire with a B. He don't need the money. And look, I think that this is my favorite of all his decisions because this is the one that feels the most true to him. Maybe going back to Cleveland was pretty good as well after bouncing, taking his talents to South Beach. But this one, going to Philadelphia, he says it's not about the money. He proves it. 2 years, $8 million. And the Philadelphia 76ers absolutely give LeBron James his best chance to win a championship. I can't believe that there are people that think he should have signed with Cleveland, or people that think he should have signed with Miami. Do you honestly, you the person watching or listening, even if you hate him, do you really believe in your heart of hearts that Cleveland, with the construction of that, with Harden and Atkinson, was right for 41-year-old LeBron James? Or that Miami, with Giannis, Bam, me, you, Tyler, Laura, Kenny, Bill, Mike, and Dan, is the Miami Heat roster, that was the right team for LeBron James? Do you really believe that? Or do you think that this is the right team for LeBron? And I'll just get this out of the way now. I am not here for people that are going to say, like, LeBron is ring chasing here, or that LeBron is taking the easy way out, signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Just a couple thoughts on that topic. Number one, he's 41 years old. Like, what do you want him to do? Sign with the Sacramento Kings? Like, he's at the end of his career. He's trying to win another championship. Of course you go to the team that gives you the best chance to win. Also, who cares that he's 41? If you're 31 and you have a decision like this to make and you want to win, why wouldn't you go to a stacked team? Hell, if you're 21, not that 21-year-olds have the opportunity to make a decision like this, but why wouldn't you want to go to a really good team? Why wouldn't you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win a championship? Why would we, or you, or anybody, criticize LeBron or any other athlete for trying to give himself the best opportunity to win? This is a no-brainer. And the fact that there's anyone that thinks that this was the wrong decision or you want to criticize him for this decision is nuts. Like, it's crazy. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Think about this lineup that the Philadelphia 76ers will put on the court now with LeBron James signed. Embiid, Jaylen Brown. I could say this until I'm blue in the face. Do you all understand how good this team is going to be? And how they have built-in cushion if and when, probably more like when than if, Joel Embiid has to miss time. Or LeBron plays only 60 games in whatever it is. The team is stacked. And I put a video out on Instagram saying that exact same thing. And I had people in my comments being like, well, there's no depth. And look at what the Knicks just did with all their depth. And look that they just won the championship. Like, do people understand that the Sixers bench is not terrible? And the Sixers do have depth? Like, I didn't love Dean Wade, not to be confused with Dwayne Wade. I didn't love Dean Wade starting for the Philadelphia 76ers. I love Dean Wade coming off the bench. That's great. Here's Anthony Simons coming off the bench. KCP just took less money to go there. Like, can LeBaron Philon give you something, the first round pick for Philadelphia? This team's loaded. Loaded. And Nick Nurse is an awesome coach. He's won a chance. This isn't Kenny Atkinson trying to figure things out. This is Nick Nurse trying to figure it out. And I know that one of the criticisms here of this team is going to be, well, there's only one basketball. Only one basketball to go around for all these high usage players. They all like to have the ball in their hands. They all have gigantic egos. Here's what I know. They're all studs, and they're going to figure it out. They have a great coach, and they're going to figure it out. That's what's going to happen here. And when Joel Embiid misses time, not if, let's just say it's when LeBron James misses time. What if Tyrese Maxey needs to miss time? What if Jaylen Brown needs to miss time? Like, you can stagger all these guys. This is an insane amount of star power. It's ridiculous. And look, I'm giving you if Jaylen Brown misses time, if Maxey misses extended time, if Edgecombe misses extended time. These guys play 1 billion minutes. They play all the time. So yeah, like, you've got the injury variable with LeBron and his advanced age. Joel Embiid, gets out of bed funny. He's out for 3 weeks. I understand. But now you have cushion with these guys that play constantly and are all NBA caliber players. It's unbelievable. And on this team, the Philadelphia 76ers now, you have two players in LeBron and Jaylen Brown who have won finals MVP for different teams. LeBron, obviously, with the Cavs, with the Heat, and with the Lakers, and Jaylen Brown a couple of years ago with the Boston Celtics. These are not just in Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. These are not just winners. That's an insult to LeBron and an insult to Jaylen Brown. It's an insult to them. They are finals MVPs. These are ultimate winners. Ultimate winners. You don't think they're going to figure this out? We just watched LeBron James. We just watched it this calendar year. I love how everyone wants to retcon this. There are so many people that want a 1984 of the sports world. George Orwell, reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Oh, LeBron, he's not gonna be the fourth option on this team. We just watched this year, LeBron with the Lakers willingly become the third option on the team behind Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Willingly did it, and was the greatest third option probably in the history of the league. And you don't think LeBron James knows that in order for he wants to win a championship. He took less money. He went to Philly to win a championship, right? You don't think he knows that the best way for Philly to win a championship is for him to not be the number one or the number two? Of course he knows that. Do you know how we know that he knows that? Because he just did it with the Lakers. And that team obviously wasn't good enough to win a championship. Even if Luka had been healthy, they would have lost to the Thunder in the second round. This Sixers team is light years better than that Lakers team. So he's already proven that he doesn't need to be the one option. He doesn't need to be the number 2 option. That's not what this needs to be, right? He's shown it already. He's shown it already. And I have seen graphics put out on social media, and I certainly understand it, right? Because they're the 3 sexiest names, so I get it. If you're looking for clicks, and there's something to be said for that, right? If you're looking for engagement, and you're going to say the Philadelphia 76ers now have a big 3, right? Because that's like the sexy term that we've used for years, right, in the NBA. What is your big 3? The big 3 that people will purport on social media for the Philadelphia 76ers is LeBron, Embiid, and Jaylen Brown. And you can understand why, for the reasons I just laid out. You guys are an educated audience. My audience, you are a big sports fan. So I think you're going to understand what I'm about to say. Is it possible, is it likely that the best player on the 2026-27 Philadelphia 76ers is Tyrese Maxey? Is he actually going to be the best player on the team this year? Has he already made #the leap? Has it already happened with Tyrese Maxey? How about VJ Edgecombe, who, yes, was he impressive his rookie year? Absolutely. But what about when we got, and look, the whole team got annihilated by the Knicks in the second round after an emotional Game 7 win against the Celtics. That was basically Philadelphia's NBA Finals, right? And it's pretty obvious in the moment and after the fact that that was the case, right? VJ Edgecombe had a 30-point game against the Celtics in that opening round playoff series. And in Game 7, on the road in Boston, when Philly completed the 3-1 comeback to knock the Celtics out of the playoffs, Edgecombe played 44 minutes, 23 points on 48% from the field. In Game 7, on the road at Philly's biggest historical rival as a rookie. Like, do you think this is nothing? And he's 5 out of 5 on the starters for Philadelphia. And we're going to poo-poo this. And people are going to be negative about it. And people are going to poke holes and try to find reasons why this isn't going to work in Philadelphia. When you've got a championship coach in Nick Nurse, 2 finals MVPs in LeBron James and Jaylen Brown, a regular season MVP in Joel Embiid, an absolute stud second-year player in VJ Edgecombe who plays every game and plays a ton of minutes, and oh yeah, maybe actually the best player of all of them in Tyrese Maxey. And we're going to do this thing, well, no, he should have signed in Cleveland. Should have gone home. Why? To lose in the second round? Should have gone to Miami? Why? Just because he's friends with Pat, because once upon a time he was tight with Pat Riley? What? Should LeBron James have signed with Philly? Yeah. Was this the right move? Okay. Yeah. Even Lil Jon knows. LeBron James absolutely nailed this. And here's how I know that this is the right call for LeBron and that LeBron James made the right decision. If you out there watching or listening, if you bet on football games, you will always have this experience where there will be a decision that has to be made by a coach on like a 4th down. Should they go for it? Should they kick? Should they go for it and try and score a touchdown, right? And you want the coach to do the opposite of what you're expecting because you know if the coach does what you want them to do, it gives you a worse chance of winning your bet. We all have this experience when we bet on sports. I personally now, and this is where I will not speak for all of you, I'll speak for myself. As a New York Knicks fan, my team just won the championship. I think about it every day. Not a day goes by that I don't think about my New York Knicks winning the NBA championship. It's so awesome that it happened. And if they don't win the championship next year, like, they just won. So it's great. It's great no matter what. But do I want to see them go? Make sure you hit them with the prenup. Do I want the Knicks to go back to back? Of course I do. Of course I want the Knicks to go back to back. Now that LeBron's in Philly with that team, That team is the team that will keep me up at night. So as a Knicks fan, this is your worst nightmare if you're a Knicks fan like me. Now, the nightmare is still pretty awesome because they just won the championship, but you understand what I'm saying. If I'm talking just as a Knicks fan, I would have preferred LeBron sign in Miami. I would have preferred LeBron sign in Cleveland. Philly, that's a problem. And I think right now, we might have at this, you know what? I'm going to call it right now. I wasn't going to do this. I hadn't even thought of doing it. I'm going to do it right now. Monday, July 27th, 2026. I'm going to tell all of you right now, next year's conference finals in the NBA. We're going to set it in stone right now. Right now. Oh, right now. Thunder Spurs in the West, Knicks Sixers in the East. That's what we're looking at here, everybody. We've got the two clear best teams in the East. We've got the two clear best teams in the West. Knicks and Sixers in the East, Thunder and Spurs in the Western Conference. And it is going to be incredible watching the road that all of these teams take to ultimately get to that destination. So as a Knicks fan, I have to be honest with all of you. As a Knicks fan, I hate this. It's the worst case scenario for the Knicks. But as an NBA fan, as a sports fan, as someone who loves great stories, I do sports content for a living, this is 10 out of 10. This is as good as it gets. Give me Sixers Knicks at the Garden on opening night when we raise the banner. Give me Sixers Celtics on Christmas. I'll tell you what, this is going to be, like, the NBA is never going to outrate the NFL. Sixers Celtics on Christmas will put a dent into what the NFL's running. It's not going to do better, but that's pretty damn good. Do Sixers Cavs excite you this year? Sixers Heat, Sixers Lakers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The juice for this year's NBA season, thy cup overflows. It's as good as it gets. A+ for LeBron. A+ for the Sixers. A+ for the city of Philadelphia. A+ for everybody. Maybe not for fans of the New York Knicks. And in the end, LeBron James' final decision was actually the easiest and the best decision. We are just getting started here on a Magnificent Sports Monday. There is so much to do. We're not even done with LeBron and the Sixers yet, because on the other side, I want to get into the Eastern Conference hierarchy and where the Sixers stand, where the Knicks stand, where the Pacers stand, where the Celtics stand. How about the Raptors if and when they complete the trade for Kawhi Leonard? Oh, baby. Sports! Do you love it? I know you do. We'll talk some more right after this.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
This segment on You Better You Bet, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com, progressivecommercial.com. All right, a couple more thoughts on the LeBron James-led, even if he's not actually leading the team. The LeBron James-led Philadelphia 76ers. Our friend Spike Eskin from WIP in Philly will join us this hour, coming up a little bit later here on the show. A couple more thoughts on the LeBron Sixers. Probably save the Eastern Conference Trust rankings for the top of next hour. This is a kind of a ridiculous thing to say. They would never do this. Also, I'm going to say it, and I think everyone's going to acknowledge that I might be right. Even if we collectively acknowledge it will never happen. Should the Sixers not play Embiid the entire season? Are the Sixers, if Embiid plays 0 of 82 games, are the Sixers a playoff team in the East? Probably yes, right? Almost certainly yes. The entire goal for the Sixers this year, this is championship or bust. You go to if the Sixers go to the finals and lose to the Thunder, lose to the Spurs, lose to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final, the season's a failure. I want to be clear about that. Championship or bust for Philadelphia. Period. With this team, with LeBron joining the team. And the way the ceiling gets raised and the upside gets raised from Eastern Conference finalist to raising the Larry O'Brien trophy is the health of Joel Embiid. Now, I shot down a couple, what I believe are kind of BS narratives and criticisms of this new, the Mike Gansey put together Philadelphia 76ers. I shut down some of them that I think are not true and are unfair. Questions about Joel Embiid's health in the postseason are absolutely fair. Absolutely. And until proven otherwise, I think it's fair to assume he ain't making it through 4 rounds fully healthy. The Sixers need to do whatever is necessary to make sure that Joel Embiid is healthy come playoff time. Obviously, you want LeBron healthy and Jaylen Brown healthy, Maxey, Edgecombe, etc. Obviously, you want everybody healthy, but Embiid is the one that really swings this, right? From, hey, we can make the Eastern Conference Final and maybe lose to the Knicks or another team potentially, right? The ceiling gets raised then if Embiid's healthy too. No, we can actually win the championship. Where, Victor Wembanyama is this freak. He's an alien. He's 7'10", and you can't teach that. I get it. What if Joel Embiid's there? What if Joel Embiid's there with the rest of this team? So, they won't do it. But should the Sixers actually sit him the entire year, 0 of 82 games, and make sure Embiid's healthy for the playoffs? They'll never do it. I don't think it's the craziest idea. At the very least, this is the load management in the history of all load managements with Embiid. Play him 20 games in the regular season, 20 minutes a game. That's it. Let him play the final game of the regular season for 15 minutes to ramp up. And the first time he falls on the court, funny, and I know it happens a lot, pull his ass out of the game. Make sure he's healthy for game 1 of the post. Cue up the Metallica. Because if Joel Embiid ain't healthy for the playoffs, for the Philadelphia 76ers, nothing else matters. Need Embiid healthy. Need Embiid healthy. Couple other quick thoughts. Last week on the show, we touched on the possibility of LeBron James, if he goes to Philly, which he did. I nailed it. Credit to me. Is it possible that he will be hated in Philly if things don't go well? And that's how he's going to end his career, as a pariah in Philadelphia. In a word, no. Think about it. This Sixers team has long been thought of in the Joel Embiid era as a chronic underachiever. Right? Haven't made a conference final. So LeBron James, correct me if I'm wrong here, LeBron chooses to go to Philadelphia to play in this city for these fans. They haven't been to even a conference final with the current roster construction, obviously led by Joel Embiid. And if they don't make the conference final, like LeBron's going to be the guy that everybody hates after he chose to come there? Like, stop it. Like, come on. There's no way. He's already wildly beloved. Well, we have two huge Philly sports fans on our show crew, and Tyler and Dan Turner, and they're buzzing about this. Of course, if I were a Sixers fan, I'd be tickled pink. I'd be beside myself with this news. It's amazing. LeBron James chooses the Philadelphia 76ers. And my last note, and we'll get to our friend Spike Eskin on the other side, and I can't wait to talk with Spike about this because there's actually no one better to ask this question than to Spike Eskin. And I think this is true, what I'm about to say. The Philadelphia Eagles run the city of Philadelphia and run Philadelphia sports. It's an Eagles town through and through. Not an insult, not a compliment, statement of fact. The Sixers, every game that they play this season is going to be an event unto itself. So starting in October, the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be back page news in Philly. And are going to be bigger than they've ever been now with LeBron there. Is there a world that exists where LeBron joining the Sixers takes pressure off of Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion, and the Philadelphia Eagles locally? I believe the answer to that question is yes. We'll talk to our friend Spike Eskin from WIP in Philadelphia on the other side about all these topics with LeBron James next on You Better You Bet.
Westwood One Sports.
Angel on my shoulder, what should we do? Devil on the other, what would Meek do? Today, BetMGM players will receive an Any Sport Parlay Boost token. To use the Parlay Boost token, add that parlay wager to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager that was made with the token, you'll receive extra winnings. Download the BetMGM app today and please gamble responsibly. I will start next hour on the show with the Nick Kostos Eastern Conference Champion Trust rankings for next season from 8 through 1. But joining us right now here on the show, there's literally no one better. To the point that Bill texted me on Friday afternoon, should we get Spike on the show on Monday? To which I responded immediately, yes. So joining us here on the show, the host of WIP Afternoons, along with great friends of mine and the show, Ike Reese, our buddy Jack Fritz, the legendary Spike Eskin on Twitter at his name, at Spike Eskin. My friend, welcome back. How are you?
Oh, what a grand introduction that was. Thanks. I'm doing good. How are you?
See, you normally like step all over me and like puke on me when I come on your show. I roll out the red carpet for you, my friend. I just want that distinction to go noted here. You are Mr. Philadelphia.
Vibe. It's a different vibe. We do that. We only do that to the people we like. So
I appreciate you, and I know that. I can't wait to get your opinions on this. The audience can't wait to hear it. I'm not just saying this because you're here. If you are not the voice of Philly sports, you are certainly like one of a select few that can hold that title. So Spike Eskin, LeBron James has joined your Philadelphia 76ers. Your reaction is what and why?
I want to preface this with my reaction is different than many people's reaction, though not everybody's. I was first shocked and then pretty bummed out. I can't stand LeBron. I used to be a LeBron guy years and years ago. I think that flipped probably, I don't know, decade ago. I find him irritating. I find the way that he sort of sucks the air out of the organization and the room wherever he goes to be tedious. I spent 3 weeks hoping that he wasn't going to come here. So he came here, which is legitimately hilarious. I mean, LeBron choosing to spend the last year or two of his career in Philly is legitimately funny.
But it's great, though, right? Isn't that great?
It's great for if for the fans who are excited about it. I understand why they're excited about it. I concede I would have done it too if I ran the organization. Good move for the organization, maybe, probably. But for me, as somebody who wants to enjoy and like who I'm rooting for, I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like dreading the next 2 years or 1 year or however long it is of like, LeBron doesn't like this guy, that person's in trade rumors. LeBron doesn't like this. LeBron doesn't like that. LeBron, like it, the whole thing is going to be LeBron. The whole organization is now clutch, right? It's LeBron who's clutch, Maxey who's clutch, Nick Nurse who's clutch. Like, so it's just going to be whatever they want. So I hope it works. If it works, great. But, I think the Lakers tenure was like they have that fake little title in 2020, but overall,
come on, that's a legitimate championship, and he was fine. He was the best player in the finals and the best player in that postseason.
Well, of course it wasn't like it was legitimate in that it happened. It's not legitimate like a regular NBA championship. If I had told you, hey, if you had landed from Mars, if you were in a deep sleep, and I said, hey, the NBA had a playoffs and there were 3 months off before the playoffs and there were no fans in the stands and they played it in Disney World and there were no away games. And I said to you, hey, is that a legitimate NBA championship? You would probably have some questions. But his tenure with the Lakers, I would say overall is probably disappointing. There was a lot of play-ins. It was a lot of like missed, they
won a title.
Playoffs. It was, but a fake title, and
but the banner is up there. Like they won the championship.
That's fine.
But isn't that the point? This is where I think you and I differ as sports fans, Spike, because like the point of all of this is to win championships. And as a fan, I want to see you are a gigantic Sixers fan. Gigantic, right? They haven't won in 43 years. And I know that because it was 1983, the year that I was born, and I'm 43 years old. Like, I believe that this year represents your best chance and this team's best chance to win a championship in the last 43 years. And I wouldn't be shocked if they won it when it's all said and done. And somehow, some way, you don't like this? Even if it comes with all this baggage, you still don't like it?
Because I'm a human. If you want to, people think and consume sports differently. And if the only thing that's important to you, and we can go to like the illogical extreme of this.
But he's not like O.J. Simpson. Like he's not a murderer.
I know, but,
like,
but where's your line? But where's your line, right? Like, where's your line? Where's your line? Like, is it okay to have some bad people on the team? Well, what if they have like one domestic abuse thing in the past, or what if they have two? I'm not saying LeBron does. I'm clearly not, but I'm saying like everyone has a line of where they enjoy the team and cheering for the team. My line may be different than your line, right? And I also think you and many people, and I think books actually specifically, are misrepresenting their opportunity to win a championship here. Like, there is a very small chance they're going to win a championship, like infinitesimal small chance. Them winning a championship, I would say the two biggest reasons. One, it relies on both Joel Embiid, who has never gotten through a playoffs healthy in his entire career, to get through the playoffs healthy. And it also requires LeBron James, who is now at year 42, to get through an entire playoffs healthy. Like, it requires both of those things to happen. The other thing is, let's say LeBron plays 50 games. Let's say Joel plays 40. Let's say Jaylen Brown plays 60. They're all going to play together 20 games during the regular season. Like, you look at the most recent champions and tell me how a team who hardly plays together during the regular season, who is highly leveraged on a regularly injured player and a very old player, have a very good chance of winning a championship. They don't. They have a, is it better than a puncher's chance? I don't think so. I mean, I think we are, there comes a point, like with diminishing returns with your starting lineup, of how many guys do you need that are going to like create offense on their own? And they have plenty of those guys, but the teams that win championships aren't usually made up of plenty of those guys. That's not like, this is what everyone who ripped Daryl Morey for saying like, well, that he cared too much about stars and the roster was too top heavy. Like, that's what this is. This is a top heavy roster that has a lot of questions.
But they've got a good bench though, no? Like, the bench is not terrible the way people are making it out to be, no?
Well, they have until they sign KCP, they have two players on the bench who you feel comfortable playing in playoffs, two. And one of them has never played in the playoffs. So I would say you probably feel comfortable with Dean Wade in the playoffs. Okay. And you probably feel comfortable with Anthony Simons in the playoffs. Okay. I mean, he's never played in the playoffs. I like him.
Well, they're going to sign KCP though. Like, that's going to happen.
Okay. Beyond that, Justin Edwards couldn't hang in the playoffs last year. Dominic Barlow couldn't hang in the playoffs last year.
You don't think there's going to be a buyout guy, though? Like, this is not going to be what it is in February, right?
Hold on. There are two backup centers. And remember, our starting center is only going to play 40 games this year. Their two backup centers are Adem Bona, who fouls at a rate of like 2 fouls per minute, and Ariel Hukporti, who has the same thing, right? Has the same problem.
Wemby stopper. Put him in there to hack Wemby.
So I guess I understand the excitement. I am, look, they signed LeBron James. It is a cool thing. I'm glad that everybody's happy. I think but I do think the jump to, hey, this team is a real title contender is not true. And I think personally, again, the LeBron thing with me is like a personal thing. I find him distasteful. But
a lot of people agree with you.
Yes, and I'm not the only one here. But Philly in general, having somebody pick you is nice. Having LeBron pick them is exciting. I think you have to give Mike Gansey and Bob Myers credit for landing the plane on this one. I think probably Maxey the most credit of any player, given that he's the one that has a real relationship with James. As an organization, you do it. I just don't think the vision of it is as rosy as many people do.
We have about 3 minutes left, and Spike Eskin, WIP Afternoons with us on the show. I'd like to do a lightning round here. Can we do three questions in 3 minutes? Okay. Number one. I threw this out there. They'll never do it. But should they? Should the Philadelphia 76ers put Joel Embiid on ice the entire regular season and just make sure he's healthy for the playoffs?
No, for two reasons. One, I just don't think it will work. He is too integrated in the offense. If he was like a 3 and maybe you just throw him in there. And two, I don't even know if it would help. I think the biggest problem with Joel is the fact that, and he has to ramp up the way that he is. I think the biggest problem with him is the every other day once the playoffs start. And I'm not even sure that not playing all year would help with that.
Who is going to be the best player on the Philadelphia 76ers this year?
Interesting. I'll go Maxey.
Can we take a second and just let that marinate?
I know.
And I said
crazy,
this to start the show, but and I understand why the social media graphics, like the big three in Philly is LeBron, Jaylen Brown, and Embiid. Is Maxey actually the best player? This is where I kind of don't understand if Maxey's the answer to that question, this team's, the upside is absolutely to win a championship. And they're one of the teams that actually can. And as a Knicks fan, they're the team that kind of keeps me up at night. They're the one that I think can really beat the Knicks. Final one here. I posed this to end the last segment. Is there a world that exists where LeBron, now with the Philadelphia 76ers, and you know this, I know this, but just for the nationwide audience to know, Philly's an Eagles town, first and foremost, right? Always has been and always will be. Is there a world where LeBron being on the Philadelphia 76ers, in a way, helps and takes some of the pressure off Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles this season? About 30 seconds for the answer.
Well, I don't know how much it'll help them, but there is a definite chance that the Sixers are the lead story even during Eagles season. And I think it might, now that you mention it. I think the idea that Sirianni is not, picked apart the way that he normally is, yeah, sure.
Or Jalen, right? Even more importantly, right?
Yeah, I'll
Sean
make sure
Mannion?
Jalen. Yeah, I'll make sure. Yes, I think it could benefit them all a little bit. I think now if the Sixers are failing and everybody's mad, I don't know how much that's going to help. But if the Sixers are playing well, I think it can take some pressure off the Eagles for sure.
Final question, 10 seconds for the answer. The Philadelphia 76ers season will end in what round of the playoffs, or do they miss the playoffs?
It will end in the second round like it always does. It was written that it would end in the second round.
Dude, I think they either lose to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final or win the championship.
They're not going to win the championship, mate.
I'll tell you, I actually sincerely think that you are discounting this in a major way. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying they absolutely can. And not many teams can say that. I love you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Love you too.
I'm looking forward to making appearances on your show coming up in the near future.
Yes, Fridays. Looking forward to it.
My friend Spike Eskin, afternoons on WIP in Philadelphia with Ike Reese and Jack Fritz joining us here on You Better You Bet. Catch them later today on WIP in Philly. Hour one done, hour two for you coming up on the other side. We will get to the National Football League. We'll get to some Major League Baseball a week away from the trade deadline, but my Eastern Conference Trust rankings coming up next.
Biggest names in the business are on You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos.
Hey, this is Joe Buck, and you have done it. You have found it. You are listening to You Better You Bet. Great decision.
This is Bob Costas, not Kostos, but you are listening to Nick Kostos on You Better You Bet.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan of CBS, Westwood One, and TNT, and I'm listening, as you do every day, to You Better You Bet with the most handsome single man in the radio business. A man who, if I was not married for 38 years, I might consider myself the kind of guy that can electrify a listening audience and a crowd of bystanders watching him do what he does so well each and every day. Continue to listen right here on You Better You Bet.
This is You Better You Bet on Westwood One Sports. Brought to you by BetMGM.
The magnificent Sports Monday edition of You Better You Bet rolls on. Nick Kostos, our crew, and you here on Westwood One Sports. Man, this first hour of the show, absolutely electric. I cannot get enough, even as a Knicks fan. LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I respect, and I mean this. I think people know this, right? I have a great relationship with Spike. I go on his show. He comes on the show. Spike is not just saying stuff to say it. He believes that, right? Spike does not like LeBron. A lot of people don't like LeBron. I understand. I disagree, but I understand that people don't like LeBron James. Spike is saying that this is his worst nightmare. The Sixers are probably Spike's favorite team of all the teams he roots for in Philadelphia, and he doesn't like LeBron. He has no emotional attachment to Jaylen Brown, and thus he feels like this is going to be a miserable season, and that LeBron and Clutch, and like, are they gonna, maybe LeBron doesn't like Mac, well, whatever it is. They don't like Edgecombe, like trade rumors, all the LeBron drama. Okay, like to a degree, I understand. I do get it. I'm not going to gatekeep how anyone should root for their teams. I'm not going to do that. Everyone can root how they want to root. I mean that. I'll just give you my perspective on this. The Knicks obviously broke their, 578-year championship drought last month. And it was one of the best things of all time. And it was the first championship that I've seen in my lifetime as a Knicks fan. You could have, now I don't really hate athletes, but I know some people do, and it's whatever, right? Let's say the Knicks had brought in, and I'm not talking like murderers, rapists, like the worst of the worst, people who are in solitary confinement in prison. That's not what I'm talking about. But if the Knicks had brought in people I don't like, athletes I don't like, if my New York Football Giants, if the Yankees did it, and they won a championship, I don't care at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Because at the end of the day, you never take down the banner. You never take it down. And the idea that this Sixers team, I understand the conversation, that they're going to spontaneously combust, and that there's only one basketball to go around. Stop it, guys. I am a natural skeptic in life with things. I had the conversation with someone this weekend about this, where you have to try to convince me. I don't need to be convinced that someone is not telling the truth. I need to be convinced that they are telling the truth. I'm a natural skeptic. I understand skepticism. I don't think there needs to be skepticism about how this is going to go. There's proof. LeBron is a multiple-time champion, Finals MVP. Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP. Ultimate winners. Embiid's a regular season MVP. And by the way, the best player on the team is probably Tyrese Maxey. And this isn't going to work? They're not going to find a way to make this work? In the pursuit of a championship? In the pursuit of a championship? The Jaylen Brown stuff's a little interesting, right? Jaylen Brown wants to be, quote unquote, the guy. He loved being the guy last year while Jason Tatum was out. Had an unbelievable season. Analytics be damned. So how's Jaylen Brown going to feel now, right? That LeBron's in town, taking some of the spotlight. How's he going to feel? I don't know. My sense is that when they're awesome in the postseason, he's probably going to feel pretty good. Because the point of everything is to win a championship. That's the point. He wins a championship in Philadelphia, Jaylen Brown. You think he's going to be worried about, well, what did Jason Tatum do this year in Boston? Come on. These are winners at the highest level we're discussing, and they're not going to figure this out. Now, the insinuation from me is not that they're going 82-0 and that there won't be bumps along the way. There absolutely could be. There will be, most likely. There will be injuries, I'm sure. But this idea, again, that it's going to go poorly, like, no. The only way it goes poorly is if there's multiple injuries, and you can say that about literally every team in the league. Well, what happens if SGA and Chet Holmgren both get hurt for the Thunder? Like, they lose. What if Wemby gets hurt for the Spurs? They lose. Jalen Brunson gets hurt for the Knicks? They lose. So sure, like, Jaylen Brown and Embiid are both out in the playoffs. The Sixers aren't winning anything. But we could do this song and dance with every single team, with all of them. I seem to remember, by the way, 41-year-old LeBron James playing this postseason for the Lakers without Luka. Not a criticism of Luka. He was hurt. Just saying, though, it happened. They beat the Rockets in the first round, and then obviously, like, they were never going to beat the Thunder. LeBron played that whole series, played pretty well. Remember that game one? And how well he played in that game? And it still wasn't enough. And not only was it not enough, they couldn't cover a double-digit spread. And I came on the air the next day and said, none of it's going to matter. He's awesome. It doesn't make a difference. This all happened not 50 years ago, like a couple months ago. And we are just going to hand wave it away, get the Men in Black device out and like, oh, actually, no, it didn't happen. Sorry, like it did. It happened. It all happened. Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP. LeBron is the second greatest player of all time. Maxi's going to be the best player. These are all things that are true. And yet you, potentially, you the listener, you the viewer, think, oh, well, it's not going to work. Okay. We'll see what happens when the games start. Maybe you want to, what if the head coach can't get it together? I have faith in Nick Nurse. Do you? Championship head coach, Nick Nurse. I got confidence in him to figure it out. And the fact, like, this bench stinks. Like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And if it's true that LeBaron Philon can be good this year and give you something off the bench, like, I mean, they're the team as a Knicks fan that keeps me up at night. They're the team that keeps me up at night. Philadelphia 76ers now with LeBron. Ask yourself this question, because I think Spike's thinking about this the wrong way. Oh, it's not likely they're going to win because of this, this, and this. Okay. Realistically, I'm going to ask this question and then I am going to lay out for like 2 seconds because dead air is bad on radio. And I want you to answer in your head. How many teams can win the championship this year? Like, only one is going to, right? How many teams in the NBA can actually win the championship this year? How many? Oklahoma City, for sure. San Antonio, for sure. The Knicks, for sure. Those are 3. How many other teams make the list? I'm not saying it's 3. I'm just asking. How many other teams outside of those 3 make the list? Is Boston on the list for you? They're not for me. I don't think Boston's upside this year is to win the championship. Can they make the Eastern Conference Final? Yeah. Is there a world where the Celtics win the East? Yes. Are they winning the title? No. No, I don't think so. And I'm not being a hater. I'll always be honest. Always. I don't think it's the Celtics. Are the Denver Nuggets, as currently constructed, having not made like a deal that a lot of us expected them to make this off, like they haven't made that major move? Are the Nuggets capable? You know, the Nuggets team that lost to an injured Timberwolves team in the first round last year in embarrassing fashion. Are the Nuggets going to win the title? I think even if Jokic is the best player. My answer to that question is no. I don't think they can win. Now, they can do something that changes my mind, in my opinion, but for now, I would say no. I really like what the Minnesota Timberwolves did with the LaMelo Ball trade for a couple reasons. I detailed it last week. But do I think the Wolves are going to win the title this year? Like, they've got work to do still. Like, they need another big body to go with Rudy Gobert, for sure. They need that going up against OKC or San Antonio in the Western Conference playoffs. I'm not saying it's impossible, but for right now, they're off my list. Miami got Giannis. That's great. And you pair him with Bam Adebayo, and Bam's a really good player. 83 points be damned. You're a good player, right? Are the Heat a championship-level team? Like, it's not, can they make the second round? Could they make the Eastern Conference final? Could they get injury luck going their way and make the finals? The Heat are not winning the championship. They're not. The Cavs aren't winning the championship. No way. I think the list is 4 teams long. Thunder. Spurs, Knicks, Sixers. So, yeah, maybe you want to do maybe Embiid doesn't stay healthy, and maybe LeBron breaks down, or, maybe the chemistry doesn't work, and, maybe Rich Paul gets involved, or, VJ Edgecomb's not going to like in his second year accepting this reduced role, or, Tyrese Maxey wants to be the alpha on the team and he can't be. We can do all of these what-if scenarios. We can do all of them. The bottom line, Kenny in our chat brings up the Lakers. I mean, come on. The Lakers. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Walker Kessler. We're not doing this. I'm not doing it with the Lakers. The Snow Time Lakers. I'm not doing it with them. We can have they'll be a fun team. They're a playoff team, definitely in the West. They'll win a bunch of regular season games. They're going to be fun. They are not winning anything. Not happening. Like, just be honest, right? So even if you want to do when they get there, something will happen that prevents them from winning. They are one of the only teams, I think it's 4, that can win the championship. You sign up for that in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Not even a question. And the fact that there are people out there that are complaining about this or think it's not stellar that it happened, I don't even know what to say to you. You're crazy. Your priorities are out of whack. Look at you. Get your blood sugar regulated. I don't know what to say to you. See a therapist. What do you say? And I'll tell you, as a New Yorker, I don't necessarily love to see Philadelphia as up as it is, but, man, you're a Philly sports fan. You are up right now, man. The Flyers just beat the Penguins, and I know they crashed out and got destroyed by Carolina in the second round. They were one of the final 4 teams in the East this year, the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm not saying they're going to win the Cup this year, but, they're on the way up, right? Phillies have World Series winning upside. I'd like for them to make a move in between now and next Monday's deadline, but they've got that upside. The Eagles' upside, even if you don't think it's going to happen, can we all acknowledge that the Eagles' upside this year is to win the Super Bowl? That's the upside, right? It's in the range of outcomes that the Philadelphia Eagles win this year's Super Bowl. Even if you don't think it's going to happen, it could. And you can't say that about many teams. And now the Sixers. Pretty good. Pretty good. You bet on this Monday. Nick Kostos and you on Westwood One Sports. You know what's funny? There's one other team that I do think is worth mentioning in the list of teams that could win the championship this year. I would like for the people on our show chat. It is not a team that anyone has suggested already. So a couple like the Lakers got mentioned, Denver got mentioned, Minnesota got mentioned in our show chat. Because they're everyone on our crew are huge sports fans, just like me, just like you. There's one team I didn't mention that I have to say I believe the upside is to win the championship this year. Mike Brown says the Pistons, not the Pistons. Kenny Henderson says the Toronto Raptors, not the Raptors. Bill Zimmerman and Dan Turner have the right answer. The answer, if there is a 5th team, because I actually think, and it's not purposeful by me at least, I can't speak for anybody else, because I put a video out on social media on Friday talking about LeBron and the balance of power in the East. And I had some angry messages and comments, and I understand why, from fans of the Indiana Pacers. The reason why people aren't talking about the Pacers, and it's a bad reason, I'm not defending it, I'm just saying this is why, is because they've kind of been out of sight, out of mind with Halliburton coming off the Achilles, right? I don't need to rehash for everybody what happened in Game 7 of the finals last year, right? Where Halliburton hits 3 threes to start the game on the road in OKC and then blows out his Achilles. Now, it didn't go their way in terms of getting the 5th pick in the draft with the coin flip, basically, with the Clippers, so that didn't work out. They could have added, another stud, potentially young stud to this roster. It didn't work out. They'll get that pick in a couple years. That was a swing and a miss by Kevin Pritchard and Indiana. But they did add Zubats to this team to play down low with Halliburton. We're basically replacing Miles Turner when Halliburton comes back. Siakam's still there. A lot of the players are still there from the core that took the Thunder to Game 7, that beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final. Indiana, I think, is the clear 5th. I don't want to disrespect the Indiana Pacers, though. I think the Pacers' upside is gigantic this season. And a great coach, obviously, in Rick Carlisle. Okay. Now, Bill, should I break before I do this, or should I do it now? The Nick Kostos Eastern Conference Trust Rankings from 8 through 1. We will end with numero uno. We'll do it here. We'll do it live. Okay. We're going to go from 8 all the way to 1. Now, I sound like, has anyone been watching these Emerald lists? These Emerald clips on Twitter, social media? Now. That's like the great Emerald transition. Emerald could say he'd be talking about, getting drunk on Bourbon Street. Transition to putting 9,000 cloves of garlic into a beef dish. And the transition for that is now. Just an all-time great television talent. And I'm being serious. With all the streaming platforms out there, no, we can't bring Emerald Live back. We can't bring that back. I used to get stoned with my buddies. It was an event. We would smash the bong like it owed us money and watch Emerald Live and laugh our asses off because it was unbelievably entertaining. Anyway, the Eastern Conference Trust Rankings from 8 to 1. So this is not who's going to win the most regular season games. No. This is who will represent the conference in the NBA Finals. What is the trust ranking of that happening? Oh, I'm going to start by pissing people off. And this will assume, Bill Zimmerman brings up a good point in our chat. Let's assume, for the purposes of this conversation, that Kawhi Leonard is a Toronto Raptor and is not suspended by the NBA or on the Clippers. Let's assume that Kawhi Leonard is a Toronto Raptor. That trade goes through and Kawhi joins Scotty Barnes and quickly and RJ Barrett and company. Kawhi is a Raptor for the purposes of this conversation. Let's make people mad to start this off. Number 8 is the 1 seed last year in the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons. Sorry, Detroit. You can win another 60 regular season games this year. And you do have a legit super duper megastar in Cade Cunningham. You do. I'm acknowledging that. You got to give Jalen Duren a max contract? That's what you're going to do? After he looked like me in the postseason? After you needed a Franz Wagner injury to barely scrape by the Magic in round 1, and then you got obliterated, not obliterated, obliterated at home in a Game 7 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can Detroit win 60 games? Yes. Can Detroit be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference? Absolutely. Is Detroit winning the East next year with John Collins? I don't mean that disrespectfully to John Collins. John Collins is the guy to put this team over the top? Stop it. Stop it. Detroit is 8th for me in the Eastern Conference Trust Rankings. Number 7. This will also make some people mad. I don't care. Number 7 is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Until further notice, any team coached by Kenny Atkinson cannot be high on any of these lists. I don't care that they went to the Eastern Conference Final. They beat a young it took them 7 games to beat a young Raptors team and then 7 games to dispatch of the Pistons before the Knicks wiped them off the face of the earth in the Eastern Conference Final. And they can tell whatever story they want, tell whatever lies they want. They can look in the mirror and lie to themselves, right? A lot of people do. The Cavaliers are among them. Well, actually, analytics say we won the series. Or, yes, we just got swept, but James Harden will stand in front of the media and tell you that the Cavs are the better team. They didn't lose in 7. They got swept. They're delusional. LeBron didn't pick them. Why do you think that is? Do you think if LeBron felt the Cavs were going to win a championship, he wouldn't have signed there? Really? Use your noodle. But I have to have the Cavs above Detroit because the Cavs beat them in Detroit in Game 7. Cleveland is 7. Number 6. Now, this assumes health in the same way we assume health for every team, right? Number 6 is the Toronto Raptors. Assuming Kawhi Leonard obviously is healthy and he's a Raptor. And he's not like in jail potentially. I'm not insinuating that's the case. I say that more for humor. Scotty Barnes took the leap. He is magnificent. I like the coach. Kawhi is still a top player in the league. I don't think Toronto will get to the finals, but I mean, you have to acknowledge that they're awesome with Kawhi Leonard. Toronto, number 6. Number 5. Let's make more people mad. Number 5. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, and the Miami Heat. Bottom line, not enough there. Can they make the second round? Yes. Could they make the Eastern Conference Final? They could. Are they in a 7-game? We'll do the other 4 teams. In a 7-game series, are they beating any of the other teams I'm about to list? I think no. Ergo, which is a fancy way of saying therefore. I learned that in an SAT preparation class my junior year of college, of high school rather. Ergo, Miami can't be higher than 5. Number 4, Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics. Paul George and the Boston Celtics. Oh, yeah. Baylor Shireman, Hugo Gonzalez. I tell you what, Hugo Gonzalez better be Wilt Chamberlain after everything that went down this offseason. How about Brad Stevens? If the Sixers win the championship this year, does Brad Stevens like stand next to LeBron on the float? Like, is Brad Stevens like arm in arm with the Philly Fanatic if the Sixers win the championship? For the ridiculous Jaylen Brown trade that absolutely influenced LeBron's decision to sign there? It is, and I can be wrong, it can work out. I said it in the moment. This is one of the great brain dead trades I've ever seen. Maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe Jaylen Brown is such a disaster. And I don't like using the C word to refer to like a clubhouse bleep because it's a horrible disease, obviously. But if maybe that's, and he's a malignant force, maybe that's what it is. I'm willing to bet it's going to work out. I have the Celtics 4th, even though I think Jason Tatum's awesome. And I like the Derek White's awesome. Joe Mazzulla's awesome. I just don't think you could put the Celtics above the final 3 teams. And those teams, the Indiana Pacers at number 3. Let's properly respect Indiana with Halliburton coming back. Look at what Jason Tatum did coming back. Now, was he 100% himself? No. Halliburton's also had way longer to prepare than Jason Tatum. Way longer. Halliburton's a killer, an assassin. We saw it. Trust me, I'm a Knicks fan. I know. And what I know is when it gets down to crunch time and that guy's on the other team, I'm terrified. I'll put the Indiana Pacers at number 3. Number 2. The star-studded team of all star-studded teams. The national television darling, and they should be. I can't wait for opening night. Sixers, Knicks. I have no inside information. That's just my guess. I can't wait for Sixers, Celtics on Christmas Day. Sixers, Cavs. Sixers, Heat. Sixers, Lakers. It's going to be awesome. But look, it's like the great Ric Flair once said, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. So the Philadelphia 76ers are number 2. Number 1. The reigning, defending National Basketball Association champions. My and your New York Knicks. Never forget this. In this world, if you want to be number 1, the only way that you get to stay number 1 is to be number 1. And the New York Knicks have the only championship in the basketball world that makes you number 1. So for the LeBrons and the Halliburtons and the Giannis's and the Kawhis, now it's Jalen Brunson. And y'all pay homage to the man. Woo! On the other side, let's talk some National Football League. Kyle Shanahan in a car accident on July 14th. Not great. When will he return full-time coaching the San Francisco 49ers? And what impact will this have on the NFC West this season? That and more next, presented by BetMGM.
is there a little bit more urgency just in this moment to do anything?
Nah, we got a lot of vets, man. He really can be on autopilot. We got that locker room.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
This segment on You Better You Bet sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com, progressivecommercial.com. The voice coming back from break, that of future first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle of your San Francisco 49ers, the great Trent Williams, talking about the absence of his head coach, Kyle Shanahan, from training camp. Now, I want to start this by saying Kyle Shanahan did make an appearance yesterday on Sunday. Niners camp, Rams camp both opened on Saturday. So Shanahan did make an appearance at Niners training camp yesterday. Not coaching the team in full, but he was there. Now, perhaps, because look, it's a summer weekend. We're all hopefully out there touching grass and doing things. I was in Florida this weekend. Got to see some family, which was great. Thank you for asking. It's possible that you missed this news over the weekend, especially with LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. And this is not a fun piece of news to report. San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan suffered significant but non-life-threatening injuries, so he's okay, like going to live. Significant non-life-threatening injuries in a car crash back on July 14th, so 13 days ago. And I know that people are turning this into a story. Why wasn't it reported beforehand? I am not suggesting that it's not a worthy question to be asked or something people should be interested in discussing. I don't care. So if you're looking for hard-hitting analysis on why were reporters potentially sitting on this piece of information, I'm sure, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk, I'm sure there are shows that will be willing to indulge you in that. I don't care about that. I'm interested in what this means on the field for the team this season. So it's expected that Shanahan, who suffered a broken nose, broken hand, facial lacerations, fractured ribs, and a severe concussion, it is expected that Shanahan will be on the sideline for the Thursday game in Melbourne, Australia, the season opener against the Los Angeles Rams. That is the expectation. But for now, Chris Forster, who's the assistant head coach, offensive line coach, is serving as kind of like the interim head coach during training camp. And you even heard Trent Williams say, like, we're on autopilot. We have a veteran locker room. They're going to make sure that training camp goes well. And yes, just to answer anyone's questions, because I did see people tweeting this, Chris Forster is the coach who was with the Miami Dolphins back in 2017, who was on video snorting cocaine and lost his job, etc. He has worked his way back up. I've talked about Mike Silver's great book, The Why Is Everything. I have it on my desk here. Great one, maybe my favorite football book ever. Forster's in the book and how Kyle Shanahan kind of gave him a second chance, and it looks like he's got his life on track. So, yes, it's true, that did happen, but it looks like his life is back on track. I am a little interested as to why Raheem Morris isn't the interim coach or the guy that's doing this, but I'm sure he's got his hands full as, first training camp installing a new defense with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, because I've talked about it for quite some time, the San Francisco 49ers, now nothing is set in stone. I have not made a bet. But the 49ers are the team that I am strongly considering picking and betting to win the Super Bowl this year, to win the championship. And I will admit, there are good reasons to pick San Francisco. There are. And I've detailed a lot of them. We can continue to talk about them with training camp open as we approach the start of the season. But I will acknowledge that there is a little bit, for me at least, of what Curt Schilling once called mystique and aura, like dancers at a nightclub, not something that's real at the old Yankee Stadium. There's a little mystique and aura here for me as it concerns picking the San Francisco 49ers, and I acknowledge that. The mystique and aura for me centers around Kyle Shanahan. He is right now, and he's 46 years old. He has for as long as he'll be an NFL head coach for as long as he wants to be a coach, however long that is. If his career, and it could have 13 days ago, thankfully it didn't, and he's going to be okay. If his career ended today, which it's not, but if it did, he would go down, and this word is kind of loaded that I'm going to use because it implies actual real life things. So it's going to sound more dramatic than I intended to, but just from a purely on-field results-based perspective. If his career ended today, Kyle Shanahan would go down in NFL history as one of the most tragic figures in the league, in the history of the league. He has, whether as an offensive coordinator or as a head coach, he has presided over some of the most gut-punching, soul-crushing, mind-numbing losses in the history of the league. Super Bowl 51. 28-3 turns into an overtime 34-28 loss. Falcons to the Patriots. Kyle Shanahan's the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Coaxes an MVP year out of Matt Ryan, dialing up all the right plays. And I'll ask you now, we are 10 years removed from that now. Super Bowl 61's coming up. A decade. Who gets blamed more for that loss? You answer this question and be honest. Be honest. The head coach of the team at the time, Dan Quinn, or offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, because he didn't call more runs down the stretch when Matt Ryan's getting sacked. Who gets blamed more? The answer is Kyle Shanahan. Super Bowl 54. Niners leading in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs. Jimmy Garoppolo misses Emmanuel Sanders on a wide open touchdown. Kyle Shanahan gets the blame. NFC title game, 2021 in LA. Niners are up 17-7 going into the fourth quarter. Winner of that game wins the Super Bowl, most likely, with the Bengals awaiting them. I don't mean that to be an insult to Cincy. The Niners or the Rams. The Rams did beat them. The Niners would have beaten them. Jaquiski Tartt drops an interception where it's basically like a fair catch on a punt. If he catches that ball, the Niners go to the Super Bowl. I think they win it. He drops it, the Rams win the game. Super Bowl 58. Overtime against the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe you want to say he made the wrong decision in overtime. Whatever. Bottom line is they made it to overtime against Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they lost. These are four of the most, and I'm even talking about the NFC Championship game in Philly when Brock Purdy blows his elbow out 3 plays into the game. And the referees miss one of the most egregious missed calls ever on that Devontae Smith, did he catch it or not, on the Eagles' first drive, which ended in a touchdown. Right? How many bad losses? How many? We don't even have to factor, and I've done this before with Shanahan defending him. Okay, he lost to Brady. He's lost to Mahomes. He lost to Stafford. He's basically like the NFL coach equivalent of Charles Barkley, of Karl Malone, of Reggie Miller. Yeah, guess what? Sometimes you just run into the GOAT. Here's Michael Jordan waiting at the end of the season. And when you play Michael Jordan, you lose. When you play Tom Brady, more often than not, you lose. When you play Patrick Mahomes, more often than not, you lose. And because of those losses, Kyle Shanahan is kind of thought of as being like this big game choker. And I don't think that's accurate. I don't think it is. I think he, along with McVay, even if maybe you want to put Andy Reid in there, okay? Still, I think there are questions there in 2026. These are, if you gave me, Nick Kostos said, I get to pick my head coach, I'd pick Kyle Shanahan. Maybe you want to throw Ben Johnson into the mix. I think he deserves to be mentioned, and I mean that sincerely. I think Kyle's the best. And if the bounce of a ball goes a different way, if the oblong pigskin bounces a different way, he is multi-time Super Bowl champion Kyle Shanahan. And I think he's due. And you might hear me say that and think, well, that's a stupid thing to say. There's no such thing as due. And you may be right. Also, I don't particularly care, because that's what I believe. I believe he's due. Wouldn't this be, and The suggestion is obviously not that, like, man, like, we're going to look back on this and be like, man, isn't it great that he got into this car accident? No, of course not. I could see us getting to the middle of February next year. Remember when Super Bowl champion head coach Kyle Shanahan got into a car accident in July and couldn't coach in training camp? This could be the start of a tremendous story. One of the great dramatic turnarounds that we've seen in the NFL. I think it's time for Kyle. Time for Kyle to win one. I will add this. It's important to say this. The reports on the concussion that he suffered, and look, you know, you're an NFL coach. Okay, you have fractured ribs. Like, yeah, like that sucks. Also, it doesn't necessarily impact your ability to coach the team. Like lacerated face, black eye, broken hand. Okay, you can still coach. Concussion, lingering symptoms from a concussion. Now we've got some problems. I have no idea how this is going to go. Let's say that there are lingering effects, and I don't know if there will be. There probably won't be based on the reporting. But if Shanahan, like, this is something that is messing with him this season, like he's got issues with a concussion, the Niners are sunk. They're sunk. He is the system. You don't have him, I don't think you got much. They need him, and it looks like they'll have him for the start of the season. Police have said, just for people wondering, that there will be no information released regarding the cause of the Shanahan collision or who is at fault. There was no reason to believe that drugs or alcohol involved. The police said that. That's not me saying it. The police said it. Maybe it was his fault. Maybe he's on his phone. Maybe he's distracted. I have no idea. It seems like he didn't break the law. I don't know. We'll see. It feels like he'll be coaching week 1 for the San Francisco 49ers. We have 2 great guests that'll join us next hour on the show. Zach Harper from The Athletic talking NBA. Dave Hellman from The Athletic Football Show. We still have a lot to do, though. I have, and I need to do it today because I'm percolating. I'm ready. I have a week 1 National Football League bet that I think will knock everybody's socks off. Maybe. We'll do that. I've got a lot on Major League Baseball, 1 week ahead of the trade deadline, 2 great guests still to come. We're going to manage to cram it all in, I promise, to the final 75 minutes of You Better You Bet, which pick back up right after this.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Today, BetMGM players will receive an Any Sport Parlay Boost token. To use the Parlay Boost token, add a parlay wager to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your major? It's July. It's training camp for me too. Not in season form yet. If you win your wager that was made with the token, you'll receive extra winnings. Download the BetMGM app today and please gamble responsibly. All right, everybody, it's time to listen up. Because I, Nick Kostos, and I wasn't like I was sitting around. I mean this sincerely. This was not like I sat down last night with the intention of, let me think of a bet for week 1 in the NFL that I can do on the show. I mean this. I did not think, and I would say it if I did. I organically came up with this idea, like hit me like a ton of bricks, because I'm reading about Jacoby Brissett and his contract extension, not extension, but a reworked negotiation with the Cardinals, where he gets a huge raise, $15.5 million guaranteed, up to $21 million in guarantees. Okay. So I'm thinking about this, right? And the conclusion that I draw, so Brissett's practicing. He told the media a very funny soundbite that's on social media. They're like, hey, do you know the offense yet? His answer was, hell no. But he's played a million games. Like, he'll figure it out. Are you ready for this bet? At our show sponsor, BetMGM, right now. Now, it's Monday, July 27th. So my suggestion is not bet the mortgage on this, or even bet $1 on this if you don't want to. We barely have any practices. The preseason hasn't started. Players could get hurt. Things can change. But as it stands right now, the Los Angeles Chargers in week 1 are a 10.5-point home favorite over the Arizona Cardinals, and the total of the game is 46.5. Think about how we are viewing these two teams entering the year. The Chargers are one of the sexy teams, right? Mike McDaniel is now running the offense. Everyone, including me, this is like, I've said it's like going from a Pinto to a Ferrari. Greg Roman to Mike McDaniel. Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, one of the best, if not the best tackle tandems in the NFL, are going to be back. Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, lots of positive buzz around the LA Chargers. Okay. The Arizona Cardinals, favored at BetMGM to have the least wins in the NFL this season. Everyone thinks they're going to be terrible. Settled for Mike LaFleur as the head coach. Jacoby Brissett will be the week 1 starting quarterback, assuming health for this team. So one team in the Chargers all the way up, and the Arizona Cardinals expected to be at the bottom. Does that interest you already from a betting perspective? It interests me. For me, the Arizona Cardinals are actually not the worst team in the league. They're not. There's legit talent on defense, especially if they stay healthy. The offense, actually, I'm not saying they're good, but they are way better than the Miami Dolphins, for instance. The reason why the Cardinals are favored, plus 200 at BetMGM, to have the least number of wins in the NFL is because they play in the impossible NFC West. And they're going to lose 6 games in division, 2 to the Rams, 2 to the Seahawks, 2 to the Niners. And I admit that. And I think it's likely that Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, and Carson Beck will all start games this year for Arizona at quarterback. They are not going to be good. They could have the first pick in the draft when it's all said and done. But in week 1, Jacoby Brissett starting. Everyone loves the Chargers and are making it like the Chargers. They could play in the Super Bowl this year in their home stadium in LA. Everyone thinks the Cardinals stink. You have a quarterback that's been there and done that. Good skilled position players and some good players on defense, and the defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis, was retained. Give me the Cardinals, plus 10.5 on the road at the Bolts. Oh, hell yeah. Final hour, power hour coming up next. Zach Harper kicks it off.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Bring it up, Laura. On Westwood One Sports, Nick Kostos, our amazing crew, Zach Harper, and you. Power Hour and every hour here on You Better You Bet, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. Got a lot of athletic going on this hour on the show. Our pal Dave Hellman from the Athletic Football Show will join us about 20 minutes from now. Looking forward to that. I'll get into Major League Baseball at the end of the hour, and why all eyes in the baseball world need to be on Detroit, Michigan this week. I'll explain why at the end of the show. I'll give you our bets at the end of the show as well for tonight, and my favorite bet week one in the National Football League as well. But joining us right now to continue the conversation on LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers, and I am obsessed with this signing, obsessed with the move for LeBron, is friend of the show. I normally don't like it. Mogging is the term, right, that people use, right, when like someone's better looking than the others.
Is that what's happening?
Can I ask you this? Like, I'm not, I promise. Not only am I not trying to sound cool, I know I'm not. I know it. Yeah. This is not an attempt to sound cool. I actually understand that saying this makes me less cool. Are you beard mogging me right now? Zach Harper with his very well-coiffed beard joining us on the show from the Athletic and Sirius XM NBA radio?
Had you not briefly explained what mogging was, I would not have known what that meant.
Dude, you stop it. You are online. But hashtag online. You don't know that?
I'm very online. But I just see stuff like people are putting maxing at the end of everything. And I'm like, no, we're they're like, oh, your looks maxing, your credit points maxing. Like, no, you're doing stuff. You're trying to look better. I don't know what that is, but mogging, I did not know. Mogging, I would have thought was like something like you say, hey, I'm mogging you. It was like, oh, we got to fight. Like we have to get in a fist fight now. Like that's just, it sounds so harsh, but if it's just like, oh, you're trying to just look a little bit better than the person. No, I did trim my beard yesterday, so it is in like tip top shape for what the standard of this beard looks like. But no, I'm not. Wait, let me ask a question about, I know we're supposed to talk basketball.
No, please.
What the hell is the trade deadline for baseball? August 3rd?
Meaning you think it should be sooner or later?
July 31st should be the trade deadline every single baseball season.
I don't hate it. I look, as someone who does content, the fact that I get to come out of the shoot, well, actually, it's not even. It's like Monday at 4 o'clock. Well, I'll tell you what, next Tuesday's show going to be pretty easy. I mean, easy show after the trade deadline.
That is very, you know what, I will say this about people complain about LeBron James taking so long to make his decision. Thank you, LeBron. It gave me a lot of extra content and a lot of extra radio shows.
Yeah, you know what? We're content maxing right now with LeBron James in Philadelphia.
Or he was mogging our decisions. I don't know. I definitely can't use that right.
He mogged the sports world is what he did with the signing on it. And by the way, how about a Friday news dump for LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers? Love that. It's ridiculous. Sure. So I tell you, Zach Harper, which you already know, obviously, LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. How do you think it's going to go this year, and do you like it?
I do like it. I'll be fully honest. Never would have I know they were in the running, and it wasn't that it didn't make sense for him to go there. I just never thought he was going to go there. I legitimately thought it would be Golden State or Cleveland, or then where there's that weird like press conference link that accidentally got sent out by Miami. I was like, oh, maybe Miami is a spot. I don't know. But I never thought Philadelphia. But you break it down from a basketball standpoint, they need a power forward. They need playmaking. They need a leader. They need someone who, yes, Jaylen Brown has been through it. He's won a Finals MVP. He's won a championship. Maybe he's teetering personality-wise a little bit right now, and I think you need to refocus some of the energy to get him back where he's used to being. But with Philly, like, they need exactly this. Like, I still think they need more consistent outside shooting. I think they still need a backup big man who can play heavy minutes, because we know Joel Embiid is going to miss time and going to, be in and out of the lineup quite a bit. And I just don't think Adem Bona or Ariel Hukporti can really play starters minutes on any given night. But for the most part, like, you think about this team with VJ Edgecombe, with Tyrese Maxey, with Jaylen Brown getting out and running, LeBron getting a rebound and getting it up the floor, they're going to probably lead the league in transition points.
I love it. So if you were to sit down, construct a list, I did this earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. Teams that, and then I'm going to follow up and ask you how many teams you have on the list. List of teams that can actually win the championship this season. Are the Philadelphia 76ers one of the teams on the list?
They are, but let's be honest. We are once again doing the if Joel Embiid is healthy.
You're right.
Historically, has not gone well. I don't think they can do it without a healthy Embiid. And it doesn't even have to be MVP level Embiid. He's just got to be healthy. Like, he's just got to be out there on the court and doing some positive stuff, but it cannot be with him in flux. Like, that's not going to happen. But yeah, I think as of today, as far as we know, everything's good, or everything's as good as it can be. Yeah, Philadelphia is 100% one of those teams that can win a championship.
If I told you that come playoff time, Joel Embiid would be healthy, the Philadelphia 76ers are the blank best team in the Eastern Conference.
Second. I mean, look, I know they lost Mitchell Robinson, and Mitchell Robinson served a very good role for them. They got Andre Drummond as the backup center. Like, the Knicks are still the team. They have that championship understanding. They unlocked a level of play offensively that we just hadn't seen before from them. And I do think that come playoff time, whether they do that throughout the regular season, I actually think they'll probably have kind of a disappointing regular season.
I agree.
Be top 2, top 3 team in the East, but they don't need to go out there and from the gates, like, try to prove to everybody. Like, we know that this is a playoff performing team. So I still think the Knicks are better than them, and I still think the Knicks should be above them. But I don't think the gap is huge between them and Philadelphia.
Who is the best player on the 2026-27 Philadelphia 76ers, and why?
It should be Jaylen Brown. Like, he was just...
Where's the but, though?
Sixth. Well, I have some concerns about where his focus is going to be this year, right? I think if LeBron wasn't there, let's say LeBron goes back to Cleveland or goes to Golden State or whatever, just isn't in Philly. There's part of me that thinks Jaylen Brown would have been in this weird mode of like, I'm going to show you messed up by trading me here, which can be a good thing if you're focused on the right stuff. Jaylen Brown, I don't know like how much I trust where his mental is going into the season. I think he'll get there and I think he'll be fine, but he is the best player on that team because Embiid can't be healthy consistently. And so with Jaylen Brown, like, I actually think with LeBron there now, we're going to see a better focus in how that's supposed to look. And I think you could see, I don't know, one of the 4 or 5 best defensive seasons in the NBA next season coming from Jaylen Brown. Like, he's going to be phenomenal on defense. They need him to be phenomenal on defense, but it wouldn't shock me if halfway through the season we're like, he might be defensive player of the year. Like, I think he's going to now focus in tremendously.
Is there a chance Tyrese Maxey is the best player on the team this season?
No, I don't think so, just because of the defense aspect of it. Not that he's a terrible defender, but he's just like, Jaylen Brown is a two-way guy, right? LeBron can tap into that occasionally, but he's just so great at orchestrating everything. But I think Maxey, I think he could average 30 a game. I think he could be unstoppable. I think him with real playmaking and all these threats around the floor, now you can't load up on him with any kind of help defense. And if you're just putting him in one-on-one situations or running pick and pops and pick and rolls with LeBron and with Jaylen Brown and with Joel Embiid, I don't know how you stop Tyrese Maxey. So I think offensively, he's going to have one of the best seasons.
How many teams can win the NBA champion? Not get to the finals.
Right.
Not like Miami Heat, this is the 8th seed, and then get destroyed by Denver. How many teams can win the championship this year?
I'm going to say 4. Oh man, I want to throw Denver in there, but I had
4.5. I'll tell you. And who are they for you?
Yeah, I mean it's OKC and it's San Antonio for sure. Yep. It's the Knicks and it's Philly. I'm interested in Toronto if the Kawhi thing goes through. I'm interested in a couple of like maybe Miami makes a trade that gets them there. Denver, I would like all last year. I was just like,
they've got to make that move, though,
about
right?
Denver.
Like, but where's the move for Denver? But where is it?
I don't know. I mean, it's like Jamal Murray. Look, it might have just been one bad series. The way he got completely shut down by Jaden McDaniels was embarrassing. Like, and Jaden McDaniels is one of the best defenders in the world, but you're Jamal Murray. Like, you're supposed to be able to play off Jokic and do all this stuff, and Jaden McDaniels just put him in clamps. Like, it was embarrassing. And then we're 2 straight postseasons with Aaron Gordon having a hamstring injury. Like, that's got to be concerning. I want to see. I think he'll be fine, but like Jokic after that knee injury midseason, and he rushed back to get into the awards stuff. Like, I get it. He doesn't care about all that stuff. He cared about that stuff. Otherwise, he would have taken more time. He was not the same player. He was still great, but he was not the same player that he was before that knee injury. He'll probably be fine with the summer of rest, but I want to throw them into that, but it's just such a bad taste.
One team I'd like to ask you about specifically, because I feel a lot of people have been doing this, and I think the reason is because they've been out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to forget about the Indiana Pacers with Halliburton coming back. Zubac's now there. When I said 4.5, the Pacers are the half. What about Indiana heading into the year?
I'm with you. Like, I got to see Hallie back from the Achilles. Like, it's just that Achilles injury is so tough, right? And Tatum came back, and he was great for a guy coming back from his Achilles, but he wasn't Jason Tatum. He will be that this year, I think. It's so much time away. I got to see Hallie back in the mix, but I think by the second half of the season, which, by the way, when they damn near won the championship in 2025, they were like okay in the first half of the season. They were monsters in the second half. Like, I do think this team knows how to turn it on, find their groove, get into the mix. If he can be the player we saw pre-injury, that team is 100% capable of winning the championship.
Final question on LeBron and the Sixers for now. I addressed this earlier in the show, gave my opinion. I really respect your opinions on this stuff, right? So there are people that are going to say the chemistry of this team with Philadelphia is going to be off. There's only one basketball to go around. I'm of the opinion that these guys are winners and they're going to make it work. I do think it's a fair question to ask, but I think my answer is correct. What do you say to people that will criticize the number of stars on this team, everybody's high usage, and the fact that like the egos are going to get in the way? What do you say to that?
2010, there's only one ball. How are all these guys in Miami going to come together? 2016, 2017, there's only one ball. How are Kevin Durant and Steph Curry going to share that? Like, we do this every time there's a bunch of good players together where there's only ever been one ball. They had like 1,000 Hall of Famers in Boston in the 50s and 60s, 1,000 Hall of Famers in LA in the 80s. There was only one ball then. Why is it now? Like, it's such a nothing criticism. If they're going to have issues, it's going to be because Joel Embiid's a statue in drop coverage. LeBron James at 41, 42 years old with sciatic issues, can't play defense, and Tyrese Maxey not a good enough defender to make up for that either. And it's just Jaylen Brown and VJ Edgecombe out there trying to keep everything together. If they're not going to make it, it's because of injuries and it's because of defense. It's not chemistry. Like, chemistry, they're going to be fine, I think. Again, like, I do have a little bit of concern about where Jaylen Brown's head is, but for the most part, like, everyone else on that team likes each other. They're going to be fine. The one ball thing always drives me crazy. Like, show me the season where a team with a bunch of good players got 2 basketballs on a court, and I'll shut up about that.
Lance Armstrong agrees. A couple more minutes here with our friend Zach Harper. It's a good line from The Athletic. It feels like the Golden State Warriors, like musical chairs, like everyone sat down and Steph Curry's still walking around here. What does the failed pursuit of LeBron James tell you about what's going to happen next in Golden State with Steph Curry and the Warriors?
Man, I just think it's going to be a lot of this. Like, he has to stay healthy. Like, they were okay. They were pretty good last season. Then Jimmy got hurt. And that's the other thing we have to remember. Like, they have $58 million this year tied up in a guy coming off an ACL injury. Like, he's not back. We don't know when he's going to be back. When he's back, I think he'll be good enough to like contribute to winning. But does that mean like being in the play-in tournament? Does that mean you can maybe sneak into the top 6 in the West? It doesn't mean contention. Like that's not going to happen for the Warriors. So it's just, we saw that month and a half or so when we didn't know when Steph Curry was coming back last season from that knee injury, how bad that looks. And they kept it together enough. But this is an organization that cannot be like, oh, we'd love to make this trade, but we're not including Brandon Podziemski. No offense to Brandon Podziemski or Moses Moody or Guy Santos or any of these guys. If you can't find another one of those, then your scouting department is bad. Like they can't be things that hold up deals. You owe it to Steph Curry to keep going for another big acquisition to make this work in a final pursuit. But as constructed, it's just going to be, Steph, please save us. Like that's going to be pretty much every night.
What is the percent chance in your mind that Steph Curry asks for a trade out of Golden State?
Oh, I mean, I guess I can't put it at 0, but like 0.5%. Like I don't think.
Should he? Yes,
probably.
Right?
Yeah, probably. But I don't think that's him. Like, I don't think he's going to do that. And it's so late in his career. I don't think there's like a Giannis situation with Milwaukee, but I think Steph knows, it is so rare to have that superstar finish just one team. I think that matters to Steph. I could be wrong. Like, I don't know him, but it seems like that kind of thing matters. And as long as Steve Kerr is there, which he is briefly, at least a year or two, as long as Draymond's still going to be there, I think that they're going to keep that thing rolling together, even if that role isn't quite as far down the road as they want it to be.
Final question, 30 seconds for the answer. What is and it doesn't have to be biggest, it could be favorite. Your favorite takeaway from NBA Summer League is what and why in 30 seconds?
Oh, you know what? I wasn't against Caleb Wilson. I thought he was going to be a good prospect, but there were times I was like, you know what? Darius Acuff might be a guy that Chicago could consider. No, I was wrong. Kid's a dog. This kid is unbelievably competitive, super talented. I'm not really buying the 3-point shooting at Summer League, but I think Caleb Wilson is definitely one of those guys. It should have been a top 4. Chicago got a monster.
And I'll tell you, just my opinion off Summer League, it does look like that. It means nothing. It actually does mean nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Mikael Brown looks better than Darius Acuff right now. Just early.
For sure he does, yeah. But also, he's got to get that Sacramento figured out.
That's awesome. And Brooklyn and that old chestnut. Yeah. Zach, great job, man. Love having you on the show. At Talk Hoops, the newsletter, The Bounce from The Athletic is great. I subscribe to it. SiriusXM NBA Radio. Stay well. We'll talk soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Friend of the show, Zach Harper, joining us here on You Better You Bet. We love our friends at The Athletic, because joining us next, and we go from The Athletic Zach Harper to co-host of The Athletic Football Show, the great Dave Hellman, joins Nick Kostos on You Better You Bet right after this.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Great song choice by Laura here. For people that haven't seen it, the video of ESPN's Holly Rowe dancing to Mo Bamba at the WNBA All-Star Game is the stuff that the internet is made of. Like first ballot Internet Hall of Fame video. Holly Rowe's absolutely the best. This segment on You Better You Bet, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com, progressivecommercial.com. I've said it on the show before. I will say it again, especially now. I love the Athletic Football Show. I am an NFL junkie. I think they do a tremendous job covering the league. So I'm always happy to welcome in one of the hosts of the show here to You Better You Bet. And joining us now is Dave Hellman, one of the co-hosts of the Athletic Football Show on social media at his name, at Dave Hellman. Just found out Dave got married this summer. My man, congratulations on the nuptials. Welcome to the show. Happy football season. How are you?
Thanks a lot, man. I'm fantastic. It's been a great summer. I'm ready for some football. I think the last time I was on the show, I was dodging in and out of traffic at the Combine on the streets of Indianapolis, so I'm happy to be a little more comfortable here the second time around.
Absolutely love it. I appreciate you popping on the show here. I want to start with one of the omnipresent storylines today in the NFL, which is, the Kyle Shanahan car accident. And I said this to my audience earlier. I'm not really interested in did reporters sit on this or not or any of that stuff. I'm interested in what this is going to look like on the field this year for the 49ers. Now, I have been marinating on potentially picking and betting the Niners to win the Super Bowl this year. I think this is a potential special season, Dave, for San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan and the Niners. But I acknowledge, of course, the division's impossible. Here are the Rams and here are the Seahawks, right? The NFC is loaded. So, bit of a loaded question for you to start. Just in general, where are you at right now on Kyle Shanahan and the 2026 San Francisco 49ers?
I think you're talking to the right guy because I've been on the Niners bandwagon for a minute at this point. I mean, I wouldn't shut up last year on our show about how I thought Shanahan deserved Coach of the Year for the way that he navigated the injuries to that team and getting them to a 11-12 win season and the playoffs, despite how loaded that division was. So I thought he did one of the most remarkable jobs in the NFL last year. I hope he's okay. I'm well aware of what happened. I haven't gotten fully up to speed with how bad his injuries are. I saw that he was at practice for a little while over the weekend. So, and I don't want to speculate too much, but I was like, all right, if you're out on the field on the first day of training camp, that gives
John
me
Lynch
some.
said he'll coach against the Rams in all likelihood in Australia in week one.
I have some optimism that he'll be okay in the long run. And I mean, the only reason that I'm not just pushing Niners stock to anybody who will listen is that they're in the smack middle of the toughest division in the NFL. The reigning champions and the preseason favorite are both there. And obviously, you're counting on a lot of older players to stay healthy and continue to contribute at a high level. I mean, the idea that Christian McCaffrey is one bad cut away from being out injured, or also he's just a running back who's getting to an advanced stage of his career. Mike Evans isn't exactly a spring chicken and has dealt with injuries over the course of his career. And you're counting on two veteran players in Nick Bosa and Fred Warner to not just come off of injuries of their own, but be those all-pro caliber players we remember before the injuries. So not to say it can't happen. There's enough there to scare me off of thinking the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, but I absolutely think that they can be a force to be reckoned with. I think people sleep on them a little bit because of the division that they're in, for sure.
LA Rams or the field in the NFC? Who do you like and why?
I mean, it's probably smarter to just take the field. This is the NFL, right? Crazy stuff happens every single year. Again, it's a sport with a 100% chance of injury. Knock on wood. We hope that's not the reason anything is decided, but just a lot of stuff that can happen over the course of 18 weeks. So if my choice was Rams or the field, I'd probably just take the field to cover my bases. But man, the Rams look like they could be such a special team. And this is even before we've heard what Aaron Donald is getting up to. Like, I was joking with Robert Mays, my co-host on the Athletic Football Show last week. I think Aaron Donald is smart enough and been in this game long enough to wait for a few weeks and let the really hard part of training camp pass by. And then in like mid-August, we're going to hear some news. And I don't know, maybe he'll decide, you know what, I ended it on my own terms. I think I'm okay. But if we find out on August 22nd that Aaron Donald is signing up to join this team on top of everything they already have, it's hard to imagine a whole lot of other teams coming out of the NFC.
I always think of the 2007 Giants Americas game, the NFL Films thing on the Super Bowl champions, when Michael Strahan's like, yeah, I didn't show up until the end of training camp because I didn't want to practice.
Oh, of course.
I didn't want to deal with Tom Coughlin at training camp, but I was just going to show up at the very end of this, and it ended up working out.
If you're 31, 32 or older and your place in the league is solidified, like if you're not going to get cut, you're an all-pro caliber player.
One of the 10 best players ever, basically.
Yeah, just Aaron Donald is going to hang out until they're game planning for the 49ers. He's not trying to do 4 days of practice in a row in August. No, thank you.
Let's keep this macro for right now, and then I have a couple micro ones for you here. Let's stay in the NFC. I have a team in mind here. I'm curious the team that you're going to name. Give me a team that you think will surprise this season in the NFC. Will be better than people expect, and tell us why.
All right. Two teams came to my mind. I'm deciding if I want to give you the spicy one or the more realistic one. Let's just, you know what? We're making content
Let's get
here.
Spicy.
Let's go spicy.
Let's get spicy. Yeah.
I think people are completely writing off the Minnesota Vikings at their peril, honestly.
Hell yeah, Dave Hellman. They're winning the division. Hell yeah.
I love your willingness to go there because, man, you want to talk about a dogfight of a division. I mean, you could make a very compelling case for any of those four teams. But I looked at it last week. I think it's very interesting. Heading into last season with an unseen J.J. McCarthy, who was coming off of injury, the Vikings had the 11th best Super Bowl odds in the league. Everybody was just well, Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. They have the best roster in football. It doesn't really matter who plays quarterback. And then they went 9-8 with horrible quarterback play, by the way, and injuries all over their offensive line. They finished with a winning record despite everybody acknowledging that J.J. McCarthy was really, really bad. And here heading into this season, their odds are 18th the last time I looked. So their odds are significantly worse despite having a very similar roster and a more proven quarterback in Kyler Murray. Say whatever you want about Kyler. He is a more proven, more capable quarterback at this stage than J.J. McCarthy. And so I don't know if I think the Vikings are going to win 13 or 14 games like they did with Sam Darnold, but this should not be a team that we're ignoring, and I feel like a lot of people are.
I have almost a hotter NFC North take than the Vikings will win the division. And I've been on that train since they signed Kyler Murray, that I felt that would happen. Because if you look at the betting odds... Go ahead. Would you like to guess what it is?
I'm wondering if you're going to tell me you're going to say you're out on either the Packers or the Lions. That's my guess.
Oh yeah. Do you want to guess which one?
No, because I don't want those people to yell at me.
They'll yell at me. It's okay. They'll yell at me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the Lions. The Lions.
Okay.
Detroit.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to know where any pass rush comes from outside of Aiden Hutchinson. I'd love to know when's Brian Branch playing? Are we just 100% sure that Sewell going to left and Blake Miller starting on the right and that this offensive line's going to be what it was? Are we sure that Drew Petzing's going to step in and elevate this offense back to what it was with Ben Johnson I've got issues with this team. Now, you put Detroit in the NFC South, the division champion. In this division, I think they might come in last again.
So I understand and appreciate your concerns. I think they're valid. And I do
disagree.
think of
That's okay.
Well, I think of the Lions. There's always a team, right? And the Lions got so close to the Super Bowl and they followed that up with the 1 seed and it didn't work out because of injury. And there are these mental gymnastics to try to say we're the same team from 2 years ago when we went 15-2. And you just kind of hand wave away the stuff that bothers you. And after a certain point, the stuff that bothers you just becomes too loud to ignore. And that's where I am with the Lions. I agree with you. When's Brian Branch going to play? Kirby Joseph is on the PUP to start camp. Nobody seems to know what to expect from Kirby Joseph, which is a huge red flag. The pass rush probably isn't good enough. The cornerback room is a mess after Terry and Arnold's B&E excursions over the offseason, allegedly.
Forgive me for laughing.
So that side of it is a mess. Having said that, and that's probably why I hesitate to call the Lions like a real deal shortlist Super Bowl contender. But man, I'm pretty in on this offense, to be honest with you. Like, I think Penei Sewell's going to crush at left tackle. I'm not worried about it at all. I think the offensive line, adding Cade Mays at center, I think it's just going to be better and more stable. The weapons are fantastic. You get Sam Laporta back from injury on top of Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. I think the offense could be a top 5 unit. The problem is the defense might not be very good. So I'm just imagining the Lions being a team like the Bengals and the Cowboys last year that plays a ton of like 35 to 31 football games. And maybe they could still get to the playoffs doing that, but I think it might be harder for them than it has been in years past.
I am drafting Sam Laporta, to your point, everywhere I can in fantasy football leagues where I've already had drafts this summer. After what Petzing did with Trey McBride in Arizona, I can't wait to see Sam Laporta with the Lions offense this year. You better bet on this Monday. Our guest, Dave Hellman, co-host of the Athletic Football Show, which I absolutely love, on Twitter at Dave Hellman. I have a take that I gave earlier in the show I'd like to run by you and see what you think. Okay. Now, the take is not that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be good. Like, they're not. And I understand why, at our show sponsor, BetMGM, they are the favorite to have the least wins in the NFL this season. Because they play in the most impossible division of all time. They're probably starting 0-6, right? With 6 divisional games against the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks, 2 respectively. But I do think this is going to be like a competent team. They're not going to be good. They're going to be bad. But I don't know if they're going to be one of the true bottom feeders. And I'm looking early in the season, especially, Dave, week 1 on the road against the LA Chargers. Everyone loves the Chargers. I love Mike McDaniel. Jacoby Brissett is exceptionally competent. I like some of the talent on defense. They retain Nick Rallis, the defensive coordinator. Is there a shot, at least early in the season, that the Arizona Cardinals could be not good, but frisky for Arizona early?
Absolutely. And let's point the finger at ourselves. Like, we in the media are often very wrong about who's tanking or who's going to be the worst team in the league. I mean, last summer, we wouldn't shut the hell up about how the Saints were going to have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And Tyler Shuck gets in there and they looked like a very competent team over the second half of the season. They still picked in the top 10, but they weren't the runaway contender or the runaway number 1 overall pick, which was such a popular storyline. The Cardinals themselves, the first year of Jonathan Gannon's tenure, we were going into that season like, oh my God, who's picking number 2 behind the 0-17 Cardinals? And they were a completely frisky team. So I absolutely think that they could be frisky. I think another thing that gets lost because, for right or for wrong, just not very many people care about the Cardinals. They were beat to hell last year. Their whole team was on IR by the end of the season. So yeah, I think there's more talent here than gets credit for. Josh Sweat is a hell of a player. He was quietly really good for them last year. Budda Baker continues to do his thing at a high level. I love Garrett Williams, assuming he's healthy. And then, yeah, you've got Trey McBride. You added Jeremiah Love. They did some work on the offensive line in the offseason. So, like, if this team is better than expected because Mike LaFleur is maybe better than we give him credit for, that wouldn't be terribly shocking to me. I still comfortably think they're going to finish 4th in the division, but if they go 5-12 or 6-11 instead of what people are saying right now, which is like 2-15, I don't think that would be terribly shocking.
I'm going to call my shot right now. Are you ready?
Okay. Cardinals
beat the Chargers in week 1.
I mean, there's a goofy result in week 1 every single year.
Is that really that goofy if it happens, given the fact that it's Brissett? We've seen him play a million games. They're actually not that bad. And it's just like this idea, and it might be right, that the Chargers are just this all-world team. Can we see it? Can I see a game of how this is going to look before we go there?
I think that's completely fair. And I would push back on the idea of the Cardinals being the Chargers being all-world. But I do I think the Chargers should be pretty damn good this year. Like I'm like so many other people in our profession, I'm high on what Mike McDaniel could do for them. I love Justin Herbert. I do not care what anybody says. But also they are the Chargers, right? Like anything is possible with this cursed franchise. So if you're telling me they lay an egg in week 1 against anybody, I can't say that would be terribly surprising.
Final question. So LeBron signs with the Sixers on Friday, right? So that's like the crux of the show today. Like the majority of the show today is on that. There were a ton of NFL news. I'll get into some of them tomorrow over the weekend that are not going to get airtime on the show today by virtue of the fact there's only so much real estate we have, and a lot of it has to be devoted to LeBron James. I think the most important piece of news that came out this weekend in the NFL, you'll appreciate it, that's flying under the radar, and I'd love for you to speak about it to our audience. I think you're going to agree with me here. Nnamdi Madubuike has been cleared for practice with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he may not practice for a couple weeks after that neck injury that he suffered in that Monday night game against the Lions early last season. I've been saying all offseason, this is a gigantic deal if he's going to be able to play. It feels like he is. Do you agree with me on this? And do you think this is one of the big stories that we saw this weekend, and your opinion on it?
You are speaking my language, brother. I remember saying back in February, or maybe even January during the hiring cycle when Jesse Minter took the job, and we were saying, can he get the Ravens back to their standard of defense? I said, well, is Nnamdi Madubuike going to play for the Ravens again? Because at that point, it's a neck injury. You're hearing all sorts of strange rumors about whether or not he's ever going to play again. And yeah, surprise, surprise, losing one of the best interior pass rushers in the NFL, best interior defensive line players in the NFL. It's a big, big deal for your defense. Having a guy like that who can A, command attention, B, win anyway, it means so much. And I think it just lessens the pressure on the Ravens to figure out what to do with the rest of that pass rush. And like we talk so much about how they need to find an established edge rusher and a guy that they can count on. And that's true. But man, if Nnamdi's there, it's just so much less concerning. And if the front is good, gosh, with Jesse Minter in Baltimore, the fun stuff that they should be able to do with this secondary. I mean, they are so deep and so talented on the back end. I think that the potential is crazy here. And goodness, I said all of that, and I honestly had put out of sight, out of mind that Trey Hendrickson is in Baltimore now. So right? Yeah, I mean, if you're even getting a lesser version of Trey Hendrickson and Nnamdi Madubuike looks similar to the guy that we know, it goes from, yeah, like the Ravens could be a pretty good defense to, oh my God, the Ravens could be, this could be one of the very best defenses in the NFL in short order. I do think that if he's healthy. So you're right, and they're right to slow play him. I assume that's what they're going to do and take precautions with getting him up to full speed. But man, if he can play and play well, it single-handedly changes what I think the Ravens are capable of. That's how big of a deal I think it is.
I agree completely. In closing, every day on the show, we wrap up with a trivia question from our executive producer, Bill Zimmerman. Now, Bill doesn't always tell me the topics, but I was talking about Jacoby Brissett earlier, and he got excited. He goes, Jacoby Brissett's the topic today. Would you like to, Dave, try and answer today's trivia question with me here on the show, courtesy of our EP?
Yeah, of course. Trivia is my favorite.
Great. Me too. And a lot of sports fans agree. Bill, what is the trivia question today for myself and for Dave Hellman?
All right, Dave, Nick, let's dive into the weeds here because Nick was talking about Jacoby Brissett earlier with his contract extension, rework contract with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Jacoby Brissett has thrown 76 career touchdowns. Can you name who he has hit for the most touchdowns? And I'll give you a bonus if you can name the top three.
But the top three, it has to be a Colt, right? Because he spent his most seasons in Indianapolis.
You want hints, or you want to give it a shot?
Bill's not going to help us. It's either a Colt or I'm tempted. I'm curious if it was a Patriot, just because those were like good Patriots teams that he was on. But you're probably right. It was probably a Colt.
Would you like to hazard a guess?
Who would that even be? I mean, Michael Pittman Jr.?
Bill?
Not Michael Pittman Jr.
But I'm guessing based on the way Bill said that it is an Indianapolis Colt. I thought Michael... Who was he was with them from like 16 to 19 or like 17 to 20. Who was like the Colts' best receiver in that?
Pittman
Hilton
wasn't
was
even
gone,
there
right?
yet, was he?
Hilton was gone at that point, right? It's not T.Y. Hilton, right, Bill? It's a terrible guess.
T.Y. Hilton is second with 9 career touchdown passes from Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, if it's 9, is Trey McBride didn't have 10 last year, right?
Trey McBride is number 1 with 10.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Wild. That's wild.
And third is, you'd be shocked that this person is third.
What team?
Cleveland.
Oh.
Okay. David Njoku.
Nope.
So a wide receiver. I don't even know who it could possibly be.
It's Amari Cooper with 7.
Amari Cooper. So and is that's the Flacco year, right? Where Flacco went nuclear down the stretch, probably. Brissett maybe started at the beginning of the year in any event. I say this whenever Dave comes on the show. We have athletic football guests on the show. If you like the NFL, I think the show is a must listen. I think they do an awesome job of. If you like the intricacies of the league and the minutia, I love it. I know a lot of people do. Please check out the Athletic Football Show. It is awesome with Dave, Derek, and Robert Mays. I appreciate the time. Congratulations again, my friend.
Happy to be here, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Our friend Dave Hellman joining us here on You Better You Bet. We will take one more break, and on the other side, why the Major League Baseball world will be focused on Detroit, Michigan this week, and our bets for tonight, right after this.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Today, BetMGM players will receive an Any Sport Parlay Boost token. To use that Parlay Boost token, add a parlay wager to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager made with the token, you'll receive extra winnings. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Just to get this news out there, there's not much to report or speculate on because we don't have information. But University of North Carolina general manager Michael Lombardi, who obviously works underneath Bill Belichick, the head coach of North Carolina, Lombardi placed on paid administrative leave resulting from a complaint filed by a former North Carolina front office employee. So there are rumors, like I'm getting texts from people that there's something going on here. I'm not going to speculate. Just wanted to get that into the show because it's Belichick in North Carolina, and Lombardi's been in the media for a long time. Lombardi placed on paid administrative leave. I'll save a bunch of the baseball thoughts for tomorrow on the show, just like, LeBron and the NFL, a lot going on. The one piece of baseball news that I really want you, our audience, to be aware of today is we are 1 week away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline, so it's next Monday. And all eyes in the baseball world should be on Detroit, Michigan this week. That is where the Detroit Tigers tonight, open up a set against the Baltimore Orioles. The Tigers over the weekend dropping 2 of 3 in a series against the bottom feeders in the American League Central, the Kansas City Royals. The Tigers are 6 games out of first place in the AL Central, with the White Sox occupying currently the top spot, and are 3.5 games behind the Guardians for the third and final wild card spot in the American League. It feels like what the Tigers do this week over the course of the next 7 days, and we had Jim Bowden on the show last week, and he kind of intimated that this could be the case, could inform us as to whether or not the Tigers will look to keep or trade Tarik Skubal, one of, if not the, best pitcher in baseball. Maybe Jacob Mizorowski would have a claim to that. I promise to the Brewers fans out there, we will talk Jacob Mizorowski tomorrow on You Better You Bet. I have some stuff to say about the Brewers, Mizorowski, the Yankees, and Cody Bellinger, the Red Sox, and the trade they made for Curtis Mead. We'll do all of that tomorrow on the show. Just had too much going on today to get into it. If they lose this series to Baltimore, let's say they take 1 of 3 at home against the Orioles, and then lose the series coming up this weekend at the Athletics, is Tarik Skubal going to get traded? I think he should be. If you're the Tigers, can you even realistically win this year? Can you afford to lose Tarik Skubal for nothing? We need to be watching the Detroit Tigers this week, because how the Tigers perform against the Orioles and Athletics could impact who wins the World Series this season. Let's drop the dope ass beat. Quickly give out some bets for tonight, so please hit it, Laura. And to get this news in, Ronald Acuna coming off the injured list for the Atlanta Braves. Big news for the first place team in the NL East. Again, a lot of baseball coming up on the show tomorrow. Bets for tonight. I'm going to bet against the Tigers. I think they stink, and I think they're on the march towards trading Tarik Skubal. I'll take the Baltimore Orioles tonight against the Detroit Tigers. Looking forward to that. And my week 1 best bet that I gave out, the Arizona Cardinals plus 10.5 at the LA Chargers. And that does it for the Monday edition of You Better You Bet. I will talk to all of you tomorrow on a terrific Sports Tuesday.